Hello, everyone, and welcome to the training. My name is Jessica Kijowski. I'm a speech-language pathologist, and I teach accents and dialects. I'm so glad that you're here. I love talking about what I do, about teaching accents and teaching dialects and pronunciation. It's all basically the same thing. So I have a lot of great information that I want to share with you today. And I based this on, I get a lot of questions from people who are interested in teaching accents and pronunciation, but they're not sure how to get started or if they can actually make a real career out of it. So I took all of these questions that I get, put them together into this training, and hopefully I can answer your most burning questions today. So the topic of today's training is how to teach accents and pronunciation, a getting started guide to a profitable business. So we are going to talk about the must-have skills and tools that you'll need to find students and build your accent training business. My goal for today's training is to help you feel confident that you can teach accents and pronunciation and that you can do it as a real career, as a real business. I think the mistake that most people make is that they overcomplicate everything. It's actually pretty simple. There are a few things you need to know, some skills you need, some training that you'll need, and we'll talk about all of that in a minute. But really, teaching is pretty simple. And I want you to feel confident that you can do it, because you can. By the end of our time together, you'll know exactly what you need and a few things that you might have thought you needed, but you actually don't. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you'll have everything, or you'll know everything that you'll need to find new students, enroll them in your programs, and start or grow your own business. Now, before we go any further, I want to address one of the most common questions that I get from people who want to teach accents and pronunciation, and it's this: do I need to be a native speaker of English to teach? And the answer is no, definitely not. You do not need to be a native speaker to teach accents and pronunciation. If you speak English at an advanced level, you're already more qualified than you think. So please do not let that stop you. In fact, many of the students in my teacher training program are not native speakers of English. They've completed the program. They're already out there working with students. Some of them are offering online courses. Some of them have really successful YouTube channels. So you don't need to be a native speaker. You do need to speak English at an advanced level, but you can definitely do this. In fact, I teach in my program to put it out there in your marketing messaging, because if you're not a native speaker of English and you're teaching other people how to improve their pronunciation, you're an example of what they can accomplish or what they can achieve. You've gone and you've done it. So you're giving them hope. And from a marketing perspective, this can be actually an advantage for you as a non-native speaker. So definitely don't let that stop you. As long as you speak English at an advanced level, you can teach accents and pronunciation, and you can do it very, very well. So let's talk for a moment about the types of professionals that are a good fit for teaching accents, dialects, and pronunciation. Speech-language pathologists, you are a great fit for this kind of work. You're already familiar with the training and therapy techniques required to change the way a person speaks. And you'll find that the training and therapy techniques that we use in accent training are very similar to articulation therapy. So if you've had even one articulation client or patient, you already know how to do this. Now, the biggest differences between working with articulation or clients that actually have disorders, because accents and pronunciation, these are not disorders. There's nothing wrong with having an accent. But the biggest difference is that you have to adjust your style. You cannot treat your accent training students as children. You can't talk down to them. You have to remember they're doing this because they want to. So it's a little different than working with someone who has a true disorder. But the good news is you'll find that accent training students are so motivated. They're much easier. They make progress a lot more quickly than our traditional therapy clients and patients who are working to improve articulation or something like that. So you have to be careful about how you treat your students. You have to stop calling it therapy. You have to stop calling it treatment. You'll need to be very careful about choosing the materials or activities that you use in accent training sessions. You can't use anything childish or too simple. That can be really insulting to these students. Most of my accent training students are more accomplished. I say this all the time, more intelligent, more accomplished, and more worldly than I. So definitely need to treat them with that respect and be careful about the materials that you use in your sessions. Another type of professional who is a good fit for teaching accents and pronunciation would be ESL teachers or instructors. Now, you're actually one step ahead of us, speech language pathologists, because you're already teaching English. And that's the hard part. Teaching the grammar, teaching all the rules of the language, that's definitely more difficult to teach than accent training. English pronunciation training is really just a natural extension of what you're already doing. So once you add this skill to your teaching, it's more specialized. You can really help your students in a different way because this is such a specialized service. And because of that, you can command higher rates. So you can charge more. And that's definitely a good thing. It's a great fit for ESL teachers because you can give your students that all-in-one package of teaching them to speak the language, but teaching them to speak it really well and to help them with pronunciation. So you're a great fit for this kind of work as well. Now, maybe you are not a speech pathologist or an ESL teacher, but you have an interest in languages, accents, and dialects, or you've had some experience with your own courses, or you've worked with someone on your own speech. So some examples of this, anyone who's had any kind of a background in linguistics, or any other language or phonetics. Actors, you are a wonderful fit for this kind of work. You're so experienced in using your voice and using your speech to convey emotions. So if that is you and you have an interest or some experience with accents and dialects and languages, and you're excited about the idea of starting your own business, this is a great career for you. Accent training is an incredible startup business because it doesn't require any big financial risk. If you want to try this out, if you want to start teaching, all you really need is a computer. All right, maybe a few other little things, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But really, you can do this with just a computer. And it gives you the freedom, the flexibility, and a good income. So if you have that interest in languages, accents, and dialects, and you want to start your own business or become an entrepreneur, this is a great field to get started. And there are so many other benefits to accent and pronunciation training as a small business. I mentioned that it's an easy startup, very little financial investment. It puts you in charge of your own schedule, and it can be full-time or part-time depending on how many students you want to take on. So you could start off with just a few students, see how it goes, and grow your business from there. You don't have to make a big commitment or completely leave your old job behind unless you want to, but you have so much flexibility in how you start this. You can work with anyone from anywhere in the world, which is really incredible if you think about it. Now, when you work with students from all over the world, you need to be really careful about time zones. So when you're scheduling your sessions, just be sure that you're in agreement on which time zone you're using to schedule. I've made that mistake before, so just be careful about that. But it really is incredible. Our pool of potential students is limitless because we can work with students anywhere in the world. Once you know how to work with students in this specialized area, you can offer private sessions, online courses, membership programs, group coaching, webinars, online workshops, and that's just the beginning. You can sell products. There's so much you can do. The possibilities for more revenue and passive income, and that's something I never thought I would see as a speech language pathologist. Passive income. I have money coming in when I'm not working directly with a person. I never thought that would happen. But with accent training, it can. And you can do it all on your own terms. The sad thing is, many people don't even realize that this is a real career option. And those that do realize that it's a career option, and speech pathologists, I'm talking to you right now, they overcomplicate the process. They feel like they need to know everything about accents and dialects before they can start teaching. They need to be an expert before they can even offer their services. And I can tell you from experience that is definitely not true. There are some basics that you'll need to know. I teach, this is a secret, I shouldn't be telling you this, but I will. I end up teaching the same 11 goals to about 80% of my students. And it's true. I teach the same 11 things to 80% of my students because the sounds that are difficult in English are difficult for everyone. Yes, I teach them in a different order based on the native language. Yes, I might, eliminate some goals and add others. But for the most part, if you can learn these 11 goals, and I teach them in my program because because I know that these are the goals that people are going to use, you can work with almost any non-native speaker. So you don't have to know everything. Once you have a few basics in place, you can build a thriving business because there are so many students out there who are actively searching for instructors to help them feel confident about the way they speak. Okay? It's not about eliminating it. We used to call it accent reduction or accent elimination. That's really not what it's about these days. Accents are great. Accents are wonderful. Our job as accent and pronunciation trainers, now I'm not talking about I work with a lot of actors. I teach dialects and based on the specific role. And that's something different. Those actors have to be perfect. That's something that's a little bit different. But just working with non-native speakers, the goal is not for them to sound like a native speaker. In fact, it's very rare that that actually happens. The goal for our students is to help them feel confident about the way they speak and to help them feel confident about navigating their lives in American culture. So it's much more than just sounds. We're going to talk a little bit more about this, but accent training and pronunciation training, it's much more than just sounds, and it's a lot more common sense than you might realize. And that's why I say people overcomplicate it. There are a lot of simple things that our students need to know. So just keep that in mind. You can do this. You already have much more of the knowledge than you realize. So don't let that stop you. You don't have to be an expert to start teaching. Well, how do I know all of this? Let me tell you a little about me. I started teaching accents and pronunciation back in the year 2000. It seems weird to say back in 2000. I feel like I always need to say the year 2000. I don't know. I like the rhythm of it, I guess. That's why I'm an accent teacher. Now, I knew almost nothing when I started out, but I got better with experience, and you will too. Now, one of the smartest decisions that I made at the time was the decision to include online courses as a part of my programs. Not everyone was doing that at the time, and I introduced my first online course in 2000. Was it 2015? I think it was 2014, 2015, right around the time that I was pregnant with Elise. But online courses are, I think, an essential part of a thriving accent and pronunciation training business. As I said earlier, I don't think you can rely on one-to-one live sessions anymore if you want to really grow and make a living, make a real career out of it. But the great news is, once you know how to teach, it's very easy to develop an online course. And that's something that I feel pretty strongly about, and I encourage all of the teachers in my teacher training program to get started on that. That's one of the things that we do in that program, and that's one of the things that makes it so unique. So right now, I see private students from my home office via Zoom. I also have online accent and pronunciation courses for non-native English speakers, and that's through my website, The Accent Channel. And I offer teacher training and business building programs for other speech and language professionals who want to start their own accent training businesses. After 20 years, I have so much knowledge, I'm just bursting to share it with everyone. So that is my story. Remember, you don't need to know everything about accents or pronunciation to start an accent training business. What you do need are some proven strategies to set up your business, find your first students, schedule those first sessions, and learn from the experience of doing. You will get better with experience. So let's talk about some of the skills and the training you'll need to get started. You'll need to learn how to do an accent assessment. This is also called an accent evaluation or a screening. You can call it whatever you want, but you'll need to know how to evaluate your students so that you can identify goals and use those goals to create effective lesson plans and training programs for your students. Now, when you do your assessment or your evaluation, there are lots of different testing protocols out there that you can use. I don't use any of them. I do a very informal conversational assessment, and I identify my goals from there. I keep my evaluations really informal, but I have a system for presenting the goals, for identifying the goals and presenting the goals that's still really effective. Keep in mind that you are also going to have more time to evaluate them as the sessions go on. So I don't feel that I need to give them every single tiny little goal that we're going to work on at the very first session. I usually keep it to about 6 to 8 goals because any more than that will overwhelm them anyway. So that's my opinion on formal evaluations, and I'm very glad. I think it's been a good thing for my business that I learned that lesson very early on, and I encourage other teachers to do the same. If you're going to use formal evaluations, be very careful to keep it fun, to keep it professional, and to avoid that child in school kind of feeling. That's never going to be a good thing for your business. So you'll need to learn how to do an evaluation. And after that, you'll need to learn how to structure an accent training session. The biggest mistake that a lot of teachers make is trying to fix too many things all at once, because your students want to fix everything all at once. But if you're looking for permanent change, you can't fix everything all at once. You need to focus on one thing at a time until it's about 90% consistent in conversation, and then move on to something else. So each session should focus on only one goal at a time. You should provide practice for your student that builds in difficulty. So you'll start with sounds in isolation, then you'll move to longer phrases and sentences, and then conversational practice. Does that sound familiar, speech pathologists? It's articulation therapy, just different goals and different ways of teaching. You'll want to have practice sheets and activities and materials that are designed for accent training and are age appropriate. So all my materials, I have a bunch of them that are included in my teacher training program, but they are all really modern. We don't do a lot of work with reading old poetry or reading things that aren't relevant. We do a lot of work with common words that people actually use in a typical day, with common phrases that people use in real situations, and a lot of conversational practice. So we have activities designed to elicit that. But whatever you decide to do, you definitely want to keep your materials effective and age appropriate. That is huge. Don't use child artic materials with an adult accent training client. They will be insulted. Maybe they won't all be insulted, but you run the risk of really insulting people by treating them like children. Okay. Your sessions should provide training and practice on sounds. But as I said earlier in the training today, it's not just about sounds. Sounds are just the beginning. Your sessions should also focus on rhythm, intonation, vocabulary, idioms, conversational skills, presentation skills, voice improvement, guidance on American culture, and anything else that your particular student needs. And this is the part I love about accent training, getting to be really creative. I've done so many really cool things other than of course I teach the sounds, but you have to work on what your student needs to work on as well. Just the other day, I had a student who's a real estate agent, and I helped her write a short script for a YouTube video that she's putting up. And then we practiced that. We practiced the pronunciation, but we also, I corrected a little bit of grammar, and I also gave some alternatives to her vocabulary, some alternative idioms that she might want to use, because that's what she needs. That's where she wants to sound great when she's presenting herself to the world. So it's not just about sounds. There's so much more that we do based on what the client needs. Remember, our goal for our students should be to help them feel confident when they speak. That's it. That's the basis of accent training. And once you know how to structure your sessions and programs, the possibilities for teaching are endless. Here are some of the different ways that I work with students and some of the different ways that I make money. You can work with students through live private sessions, in person, that's before COVID-19, or now online using video chat software. I use Zoom to see all of my private students one-on-one. And as I said, I did that before COVID. People are really comfortable with it in this day and age. So you can be online only. You can see students in person if you like, or you can do both. You can do online workshops. You can choose a topic. You can choose a few accent essentials, perhaps, and you teach them to a large group of students in an online workshop. I've done this. It's been really successful. You can do group coaching. Now, the difference between online workshop and group coaching would be that group coaching would require you to give students some personal feedback. So it would have to be a smaller group than a workshop could be as many people as you wanted. But for a group coaching, you want to give each student a little bit of individual time. So I like to limit my group coachings to no more than 10 students. But it's actually great because you can charge less. So the student benefits by paying a lower rate. But because you have 10 students in the hour instead of 1, you're making more money. So it's a wonderful option for everyone. And it's a great way to work on maintenance and consistency of some of the sounds that you've worked on in your private sessions. Online courses. I highly recommend that you consider building an online course. I use and I recommend Kajabi for all of my online courses. That's what I use. I also use Kajabi for my email marketing, for my website, for pretty much everything. It's an all-in-one solution. It's incredible. And keep in mind that an online course does not have to be completely comprehensive. In fact, it shouldn't be. I've found that shorter courses, shorter, more focused courses tend to do a little bit better than huge comprehensive course. I had, a very comprehensive accent training course and people just got overwhelmed. I narrowed it down to a 4-week pronunciation improvement program with a lower price point, and it's been hugely successful. I don't offer any live feedback or any feedback at all in that course, so it's pure passive income. And as I said, I recommend that everybody have something like that, whether it's a lower price, without feedback, you're probably going to have to keep it at a lower price point, but you also get so many students that it can really, really be worthwhile. So something to consider. Online courses. Now you also have I've done this is a really cool way to work with people too. Online courses plus a weekly or monthly workshop or group coaching, right? So you've got your online course where your students would go to learn about the sound and how to pronounce it and get some repetition practice. And then every week or every month, whatever you decide, you do a group coaching. So again, everyone wins. The student will probably pay less than they would for a private session, but you can see more than one student at a time. So you're making more money. I've also found that students in a group coaching situation tend to improve faster because there's a little bit of competition between the students. They're much better at hearing the other students' mistakes than they are in hearing their own. It's almost like it trains their ear and sharpens their listening skills when they're around other students rather than just you. So this is a really great way to use accent training and pronunciation training as in a larger group, online course plus workshop or group coaching. Then you can offer practice materials. You can sell audio files, video lessons, practice sheets. You can sell them to your students who are in your coaching programs, in your training programs, or you can sell them to anybody who wants them. You can put them, there are websites, different ways that you can sell your materials. So lots of different ways to create passive income and active income. Is that a word? Active income? Is that a phrase? Let's pretend it is. Active income. And it's such an enjoyable career. There's so much flexibility, very little stress, almost no paperwork, which is amazing. And you don't need much more than a computer to get started. But before you can work with students, you need to find some students. So let's talk about marketing for just a moment. There are tons of different ways to market your products and services, but I believe that email marketing is the most consistent way to find new students and the very best way to build predictable revenue and a profitable business. Here's the thing. And this is a lesson that I keep learning. I know this, but I keep getting reminders of this. And this is something that I want you to know. People are ready to buy when they are ready to buy, not when you are ready to sell. So you want to be there. You want to be right there in their world when they decide that their problem has become too painful and they are ready for a solution. Because the truth is, most people are not going to buy from you or enroll in your programs the very first time they find you on social media or go to your website. As human beings, we all do a little bit of research, sometimes months of research, before we make that commitment. So we want to be there when they decide they're ready to make that commitment. And that is easily done on little to zero budget, even no budget, through email marketing. With a strong email marketing strategy, you can be confident that you'll be there in the potential student's inbox with an offer when they are ready to enroll. Now, a lot of times when I tell teachers or anyone who's interested in marketing that email should be the foundation of their marketing strategy, they say, well, what about social media? Social media is better. Now, I don't think social media is bad. Social media is not bad. It's actually amazing. There are lots of great opportunities to be had on social media. But you should not favor social media for marketing over email for marketing. And I'm going to tell you why. Well, I actually have a ton of reasons why, but I'm going to give you my top three. 3 reasons why I prefer email marketing as the foundation of any solid long-term marketing strategy. Number 1, you own your list. Unlike social media, you own your list and you're in control of what you do with it. With social media, the algorithms are in control. You just can't be sure that your followers are seeing your posts at all. With email, you control how often they hear from you. The other thing is, now this doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. If your account is hacked or your account is suspended for some reason, if they change the rules on the platform and they decide you're in violation, they can shut down your account, they shut down your page, and years of hard work and money spent building that page and those likes and those followers, it can all be gone in an instant. And good luck getting anyone on the phone or by chat or any type of support from Facebook, Instagram, and all the others. Okay. So doesn't happen often, but it can happen. So email should definitely be your backup. You'll still have your list, even if every social media platform would shut down tomorrow. Email narrows down your audience. People who have subscribed to your list are interested in what you have to say. They actually want to hear from you, and that's a good thing. It means they're more likely to purchase your products and services. And number 3 is my favorite. Email is inexpensive. Once you have that subscriber, it costs you nothing to contact them. Nothing. No ad budget required once you have the subscriber. So it can cost money to acquire the subscriber, but once they're on your list, it costs you nothing to contact them. So as I said, social media is not, that's why I prefer email as your foundation for your marketing strategy. But you should also have a presence on social media. And if you're just getting started, my advice is to choose one and focus your time and your energy and your money on that. Once you're getting consistent results on one social media platform, you can add another and use the same strategy there. Please don't overwhelm yourself with trying to be everywhere because I've made this mistake before. It's easy to look around and see other people, right? Everyone's doing so much and they're on every platform and all these really cool things. But when you're just starting out, especially if you're on your own, it's just not effective to work that way. Keep it simple to start and expand when you are ready. Now, when choosing a social media platform, I suggest you consider 2 things. Number 1, where does your audience hang out? There are different demographics for different social media platforms. You'll want to go where your potential students hang out. And number 2, which platform are you most comfortable with? So this one I've had, I'm doing better on Instagram. My potential clients, my target market, I tend to work with actors, right? So I have a lot of actors who are non-native speakers. They're not born in the United States, but they want to pursue a career in America. So they need to learn an American accent. And they tend to be younger and they tend to be on Instagram. But I wasn't comfortable with Instagram for a very long time. I'm still not really comfortable with it. I'm not too visual for me. I like words. I don't like all the visuals and the pictures but whatever. I'm getting better. So, because I wasn't comfortable with Instagram, I started on Facebook and I built up my following on Facebook and used Facebook ads to attract new students. I developed a really consistent sales strategy using Facebook, right? So because I was comfortable with it, it made sense for me to focus my time and my energy and my advertising budget only on Facebook. And I found a lot of success there. Now that I have a successful strategy for Facebook, I'm just starting to branch out and apply the same strategy with a few tweaks, because you have to, for different platforms, on Instagram. So I encourage you to keep it simple, do what is comfortable for you at first, and then expand your reach when you're ready. Don't overwhelm yourself with trying to be everywhere at once. Definitely stop trying to keep up with what everyone else is doing. Be consistent. Focus on the platform that is most comfortable for you. So, to become an accent instructor or to start an accent training business, you don't need a big startup budget. You don't need a ton of experience. You don't need to know everything. If there's only one thing that you take away from today's training, know that. And know that you don't need to know everything. It's so true. You really will get better with experience. But to start your business or to start teaching, you do need to know how to do an accent assessment, to know how to teach the most common goals, to know how to build a relationship with your students. That's so important. And I think that's very much overlooked in most other programs. And you need to have a marketing plan to find your students. And that's super important as well. So if you're ready for a new career, that's an easy transition from what you're doing, that's a low risk investment, not a lot of paperwork. If you're ready to expand your services to include online courses and workshops, things that provide passive income. And if you're ready to start your own business, to be your own boss with all the freedom and flexibility that goes along with it, you have two options. You can definitely do this work by learning on your own. Now, learning on your own will take a lot longer, and you will make a lot of mistakes, especially when it comes to marketing. But you'll learn by trial and error, and you will pivot and adjust as you learn from your mistakes. But if you're really ready to do this and you want to get some guidance, you want to get the training and the support that you need to start your business and to start working with real paying students as soon as possible, then you can get the benefit, or you can benefit from my mistakes and my 20 years of experience in my teacher training program, the Accent Channel Method. The Accent Channel Method is the only teacher training program of its kind that gets you feeling confident, qualified, and prepared to teach while helping you find a steady stream of students to build a thriving business of your own. There's a big emphasis on marketing. There's an entire marketing course in my program because I know firsthand from experience how important it is and how most of us are not equipped or we don't feel comfortable selling our services. So, as teachers and service professionals, we've got to learn to promote ourselves and to promote our services and to do it, as I said, in a really natural way. In the program, you will learn how to teach every sound of American English. There are detailed tutorials and even scripts for you to use when you're just starting out. You'll learn how to teach those suprasegmentals, all the things that, as I said earlier, it's not just about sounds. You'll need to learn how to teach rhythm, intonation, how to link words together. And we cover all of this in the program because I think it's so important. In fact, maybe a little more important than the sounds. Of course you need to learn the sounds, but I found through the years that if a student can master the rhythm and the intonation, they can make a lot of mistakes with the sounds. It's almost like people notice the rhythm and the intonation more, or differences in the intonation and the rhythm more than they notice sounds. So you definitely need to learn how to teach these areas. So we cover that in depth. You'll need to learn how to do an accent assessment or an evaluation. I walk you through my process step by step, and I give you the forms and the sample reading passages that you'll need to do your own assessments. So that's all done for you. You'll have a script so you'll know what to say, and you'll sound like an expert even if you're doing it for the first time. You'll learn how to design lesson plans. And to get you started, I will give you, or it's included, you'll get copies of my personal lesson plans for some of the most common languages. So you'll have a lesson plan. You'll know exactly what to do for a native speaker of Chinese, a native speaker of Arabic, and there are several other languages that are included. And I always add more. If there's a request for a specific language, I can help you out with that, and you can get a lesson plan for it. That's what's great about an online program. This isn't so much a course, it's a program. I'm here. I'm a real life person that's here to help you when you have questions or if you need feedback. So it's not just a static course that was created, 20 years ago and I'm still selling it. It's constantly evolving, constantly improving, and there's a real person here to help you and support you as you start your business and start your career. You'll learn teaching techniques and homework ideas for your students. And remember, I'm really big on making sure that your activities and your teaching techniques are age appropriate and effective for this really specific population. You have to be careful what you use for homework and how you teach. You'll learn exactly what to do and what to say to sound like a pro, even if you have little to no experience. And I mentioned that earlier, but that's one of the things when I was starting out, that was one of the things that helped me the most. Having these little scripts, knowing how to explain things, knowing exactly what to say. Because when I started teaching, I had maybe 4 weeks of, I don't even know if it was that much, twice a week I would go in for 2 hours to get a little bit of training, and then I had to jump right in. And you're so nervous when you're starting out. To have these little scripts is just so valuable, because a lot of times we know what we want to say, but we lose our train of thought because we get nervous. So this is going to help you overcome all of that and really get you teaching a lot faster. You'll also get the materials you need. You'll get PDF worksheets and audio files, and you have permission to use these in your sessions with your students. So you don't have to pay extra for materials. You don't have to go out and buy books or anything. It's all included in the program. You can download what you need and start teaching online or in person as soon as you're ready. The materials are just waiting for you. This saves you, I can't tell you how much time and effort this is going to save you. It's taken me years to build up this library of sheets, of practice sheets and audio files, and I'm sharing them all with the teachers in the program, and they've been really successful. Now, I mentioned marketing. There's a separate marketing course. Before I set up this selling system that I teach you in the course, before I set this up in my business, everything was just random. My sales were random, and I was trying this strategy and that, kind of picking and choosing all these different strategies, and I didn't know what was working. And mostly it wasn't working. But once I set up this email marketing system, the system that I teach you in the course, it's more than email marketing, but that is the foundation of it. But once we set up this system, it was such a relief for me. Once I started to do exactly what I'm going to teach you in the marketing course, I started to see new enrollments every single week. I had consistent revenue coming in. It was predictable. It was constant, and it changed everything for my business. So this marketing course it's current. It uses techniques that are working right now. It's not a bunch of old ideas that you've heard a million times before. It really is a marketing strategy. So I'm so happy with the results that my teachers are getting from the marketing course. I would love for you to see how this strategy, the strategies that I teach in the marketing course, can transform your business. But specifically, you'll learn to quickly and easily create engaging, free promotional content to attract new students. You'll learn proven strategies for finding your students and for growing your clientele. You'll learn to set up my selling system for predictable sales and consistent enrollments for your business. So lots of great things to really not just start teaching. I mean, that's a big part of it, but it's more about building a business. So if you're looking to build a business, to build a career as an accent instructor, not just to, know a little bit about it and never do anything with it, this program really helps you get started and build a business and build a real career. So many of our teacher trainees start working with their own paying students in a matter of months or even weeks. So it doesn't have to take forever. Once you complete the program and implement the strategies, you are ready to start working with real students. So here's what you get. The Accent Channel Method is the program. It's a full training program. It includes video lessons, assessment tools, materials for your students, and more. You'll also get access to the separate comprehensive course on marketing your services. It's called Marketing for Accent and Pronunciation Professionals, and that's just what it is. It's a comprehensive course on marketing strategies and setting up the selling system, but it's really specific to our niche market, to teaching accents and pronunciation. So these are strategies that work for us as accent and pronunciation professionals. You'll get access to a private Facebook group where you can ask questions and get feedback from other students and support from other students. And I'm in there too, so I can help you and answer questions there as well. And you'll be invited to monthly live Q&A sessions. So in these sessions, we can troubleshoot where you're having problems. We talk about a variety of topics, from teaching techniques to dialects to marketing to creating video lessons. Anything that is part of this business that we're building, we discuss there, we troubleshoot, and I host them every single month. Now, whether you decide to learn with me or learn on your own, you can still ask questions about anything that we discussed in the training today. So if you want to ask a question, there's a form below this video. Just enter your name, your email, and your question, and I will reply to you with an email as soon as I possibly can. Thank you so much for learning with me today. I really do love talking about accents and dialects and pronunciations, and I hope that you learned a lot today, and I hope that you do feel confident that you can do this as a career, because you can. So I hope to see you in the program. Until we meet again, have a wonderful day.